On today's video, we're going to have a look at the difference between a middle sweep and a link sweep, or a 33 versus a 32 sweeper. So here on the first video, we're going to be talking about our link sweeper, which is, as you can see, probably the most common. I'm not saying that the middle sweeper is uncommon, but this is the one that you see more often than not. So let's break this down. This is your just basic baseline link sweeper. So you have a middle play the ball, and your middle here is going to go down on the middle in front of him, with your open side link becoming dummy half. So if we just rewind this a little bit, you can see here, he is actually the left and the right middle. So he's going to make that touch on his opposite middle and split infield. Okay, obviously he wants to split infield. If he splits away, this sweeper is just going to come around and just jam him in the back, which is what we don't want. So there's the dump. He splits infield. This guy here is dummy half, and he just pop passes to the sweeper. And it's very important to time this run. You can see this run has been timed well. He doesn't have to slow down to catch it, balk his run. He's just running at speed. And it is now just a foot race between your sweeper and the player that made the touch. And the idea with your timing of the sweep is to just make this space as little as possible. Because you want to beat him to the line, beat him to scoring a try before he can get onside. Which, if we play continue, that's what happens there. It's close, but that's obviously, and that's why we talk about a dive being very important. But not only that, is a 33 sweep, 33 being a middle going down for a middle. So it's a link sweeping. It gets you to this platform here. Bang. Well, I'll go to a couple frames. So there. So we have the player here who's made the touch and is offside. And now we are in a space where if he pulls a really hard corner and you step back in with the ball, you have a 4-on-3. And this is the most common platform that you see in touch football, is the 4-on-3 platform. Because now we can have this player here realigned to this hole, the dumper who is now the link going into the link hole, and there is a winger out there that can also receive a wide pass. So everyone else becomes now just a hole hitter. And that is why sweeper, a regular sweeper or a link sweeper is so popular, because if he doesn't pull a hard enough corner, you just go short side and there's a 3-on-2. But it gets you into that platform where one of the middles has the ball in front of an offside player who made the touch. And that is the basis of all touch plays that involve your options of running and passing and things like that. Obviously, you can do a punish where you just want to dive and try a cheap try on the link. There's certainly plays that are different than that, but 90% of touch plays rely on that 4-on-3 platform. So here's another one here. The link is coming around to sweep. So he is going to make the touch on his middle that's in front of him, and he's going to split, obviously, away from the sweeper, or he's going to split infield to the other middle. Both clearing a path for his sweeper, and it realigns him to hit that hole between the link and the middle. So there he splits. And it's very important. A lot of people, when they start off their sweeping, they just stand there. They dump the ball and think their job's over. But you can see he split out here to align into this hole. Okay, but you see now this player's pulled a hard corner. He's pulling really sharp out there. He doesn't want to get beat on the outside. And now the step back, a lot of arrows. Step back is now the option for the ball carrier. There it is, and he can see the space between the middles. And there's not a lot of space, but when you dive, you don't need a lot of space. And he gets low and goes under them. His options now, we have the short ball, we have the one-man cutout, and we have the over-the-top pass to the winger. And that's the importance there of off-the-ball stuff from the dumper, the dummy half, realigning to hit the holes. And that is your baseline sweeper. Those are the options that you want from a sweeper. You want to be attacking that offside player, and you want to be using that 4-on-3 platform, whether you want to skin them on the outside, you want to step back and dive, you want to throw that short ball, you want to throw that cutout ball. It doesn't really matter. As long as basically what you're doing is you're running into the line before you make the decision. Okay, so he's ran first and then decided to dive. If you want to pass, you've got to run into the line and then make your decision then. And that's a try. Another option from a 33 ruck with a link sweeping is this. This has been showed a couple of times on the channel. It's the run. And it just counters the momentum. So we have exactly the same platform. Middle is the ruck with a link sweeping around. And you can see the body shape of the toucher is about to pull a really tough corner or a really hard corner. He's actually not even looking at the ball, which is probably not ideal. But he's just flat stick, just probably worried about getting beaten on the outside by the sweeper, which means if he's running so hard to that corner, the defense actually have to shuffle across because, well, otherwise there's going to be a huge hole opened up like the try that we just saw in the previous clip. But the dummy half counters the momentum and takes off. And you can see this guy's moved into this hole. The sweeper, when this has happened, he's actually curled around and you can see the defender slips over. So the inside trail ball is now on because he's just got a free line of path to the line, but the dummy half obviously sees the space and runs into the in goal. So as far as options goes, there is options off a link sweeper, but it's basically either you're giving to the sweeper or you're taking off the other side. There is quarterbacks that you can run off it as well, where you give to the sweeper and then they immediately bump the pass back to you. But essentially, it's just countering the momentum back this way from the sweeper. I do have a video. It's got a really cool thumbnail. It's the sweeper quarterback. It's the NFL guy sweeping up. So check that one out if you want to see a sweeper quarterback. But yeah, let's go on to a middle sweep. Okay, so the original idea of a middle sweep. This is the link with the ball now. This has been shown a couple of times. It's a really nice Cindy. We call it a Cindy where I'm from, outlaw, whatever you want to call it. But it is your middle sweeping. So it's a link going down for a middle with the number 7 here being the middle that's going to sweep around. And this is the link making the touch. And this is just another platform of a punish play. You want to attack this guy. He's very vulnerable. He's going to have to pull a hard corner because this is the sideline and the player, he's only got one winger that's covering that space. So you're going to, timing is everything. You want to be really sprinting, and this is well timed. So it's actually quite a short distance between attacker and defender, which is what you want. And you're just going to beat him to the line. And we just get under. So that is your middle sweep. If you have a good diver, if you get that touch on the link and you can bring them in as far as you can, then you can strike a dive at their feet. It might be step in, dive, get them on the outside, however. And what that does is it conditions them for a sequence of plays that you can then break back to the open side. Let's have a look at this clip now. The only downside to that last one, it looked great, but it was not good for analysis because it was so close. Okay, so we have both middle and link up, which can be okay. Realistically, you only want one of them making a touch, and they're going to go to the link with the middle sweeping around the back. So he gets it on the link, and as before, the sweeper comes around and attacks that player with the hat on and tries to score at his feet, which when you have two players here, that's actually a lot easier to do because there's no one back here to cover you when you're actually getting when they're diving at you. When they're diving at you, there's no one there to cover you. So you actually have both options to do what they're going to do now if both are in the touch, or you could have given it to the number 11 as he swept around. But what they do is the dumper splits hard in, and because the threat's around the back, the whole momentum is going this way from all the defenders, and then they hit it against the grain and go back to the dumper, which now becomes like a reverse quickie. And they go this way. So that's a completely different option, and that's the sort of play you would want to do if you dump the ball and the middle's making the touch, especially if the link's getting back on side. So if you go back to this dump, if this link is back on side here, you definitely don't want to give it to the sweeper because he'll run into an onside player. So that split in is really good if that middle can see that you're running that sweeper and go, no, I want to make this touch. We've got another clip as well. So let's have a look at this one. It's the same sort of play, but it just shows you that you can do this with any age. So this is this is exactly what I was talking about here. So this is the middle sweeping, but the defensive middle is being brave and making this touch because he knows that the threat coming around is really high. If his link was to make the touch, he can just dive at his feet. So this is totally fine for the middle to do that. I would personally recommend a middle do this myself. Be brave. We don't want the links to make too many touches on the line. I know Queensland are very opposite to this. They like their links making as many touches as possible. And there's the split in. And notice what the dummy half does. He actually picks up the ball facing the sweeper. So it gives even more impressions that he's going to hit the sweeper, making these guys really shift over and they start to get really tight. But as we continue, they hit the ball the other way. And now all of a sudden, the defenders just can't keep up because when he caught the ball, he was already at speed. These guys are already going the other way. And now the defenders have to turn their angle and run. So looking at both, what one would I prefer? If you were starting out a team and you hadn't introduced much to them, I would definitely start with just the standard link sweeper. It's easier to understand, it's easier to learn, and if you can get into this spot here where your 4-on-3 is open, then you can just practice hitting holes and doing the little things right. If you obviously are already good at the sweeper, you can incorporate the middle sweeper as well. And if you're very good at both of them, I'd actually prefer the middle sweep as it gives you a lot more options on what you can do. If you have a link ball player, you can hit the link on the dump and then they can be ball player there. And if you've got a good diving middle that normally dives off a quickie, he can dive by sweeping around the back as well. So I think if you are an advanced team that are very good at both of them, I would say, yeah, the middle sweeper is probably going to get you more variety, better results. And it's very hard to sort of overthink. It's hard to see what's coming as a defender. Whereas this sweeper here that we're seeing, the link sweep, I would say this is more easy to learn, easy to master, and it does actually really make you good at working off the ball. So yeah, I guess it's like iPhone and Android. iPhone is probably the most common one. It's easy to learn and understand, and it does the job just fine. But Android, whilst more difficult to understand, it does actually offer a lot more. Probably not a lot more, but it does offer more. I guess that's the best way I can compare this. And yeah, that's definitely coming from an iPhone user. But anyway, that's the middle sweep versus the link sweep. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. But I do have a video coming out soon where I'm just going to be answering a bunch of questions from members as well. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, this is obviously, that is the middle sweep right there. And that is like an option. You can go both ways. I guess you can go both ways, both of them. But this is just my opinion. Just let me know what's yours. And but yeah, we'll see you next time. Thank you very much for tuning in once again.